Hello and welcome back to the NBA DFS Slate Breakdown for Friday, February 28th. We're here. We're going to be breaking it down. We got a nice 8-game slate on FanDuel, 10-game slate on FanDuel and 8-game on Draftkings. Got that mixed up a little bit, but we won't be mixing up this show. We know where we're going. We're dialed in. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann, at FlatTyler83 on your DFS sites. Now come join us at LionStar. $39.99 per month gets you access to all we do. The props, the DFS, the best ball. You get it all. One low price. Best ball for MLB is up. We got good old Padres in spring training action, but this is just a little glimpse of our best ball tool. It'll also be up very soon for NFL after the NFL draft. The big best ball contest for the NFL come up. This time, nowadays it's footballs all year round with DFS or different types of DFS. Now let's jump into today's slate. We got 10 games, starting position by position with point guard. This slate is an interesting one. Right now, as things stand, it's going to be very hard to get away from the Pelicans, Phoenix, or Minnesota. There could be a couple other teams that jump into that with all the injuries. Boston is one that could be. Utah has a ton of questionable spots. The Lakers, LeBron is uncertain. Luka is questionable. Rui didn't finish the game yesterday. We have injury stuff literally all over the league today. We will do our best to kind of break that stuff down. Now, Mike Conley, 4,600, 24% owned. Expectation he starts. He definitely gets a big usage bump without AE out there, without Ant, and he's in a good matchup. I get why you're going there. My big worry here is I think he just stays limited as far as how much run they really give him. And I think the big beneficiary is actually Nickeil Alexander-Walker here. But I'm fine having some Conley. I will have some. I'm not going to go super hard on him, though. Next, we got Tyus Jones, 4,900. He is likely to start with Bradley Beal now being out. Another thing is Grayson Allen is doubtful. So I think there's pretty secure minutes here for Tyus Jones. He played 39 minutes last night, played very well. I don't think he gets 39 minutes again, but if he gets 30 at his price, he looks really good, and I think there's a very, very good chance of that happening, and I don't mind some Tyus. Next, Jose Alvarado, 6,100, 19% owned. Man, the Pelicans are sitting Zion, sitting CJ McCollum. Murray's obviously out. Ingram got traded. Herb Jones is out. Alvarado's going to step in and play big-time minutes with big usage, and he's been productive in starter role before. Very interested in Alvarado, even at 6,100. I am absolutely fine going there in a good matchup versus the Suns. Now, a little bit of pivot. Tyrese Halliburton, 9K. I was pretty surprised when I saw that Halliburton was like 0.25 fantasy point per minute without Benedict Mather on the court, and that's the situation we have right now. He's also been playing well. If you remember the start of last year, Halliburton was on fire. He is a streaky player a little bit, but he had a string of games where he was in the 60s and 70s. It seemed like the first month of the season, he was just absolutely crushing. This season, it's gone the other way. He started a little slow, but he is on a roll right now. Been, playing pretty well for over a month, really, but lately, really crushing it. 56, 51, and 67. I think in this role without Mathurin, he has a little more security for his minutes. Little more likely that he plays, 34 instead of 30 to 32-ish. And it's a good matchup versus the Heat. They're 27th versus point guard. I like Halliburton in this spot. Next, we got Ja Morant, 8,300. Tough matchup versus the Knicks. We are still waiting for some Knicks injury news here. So they could be another team that we end up playing a little bit more of. But with Ja here, his minutes have been trending up. They let him play 37 minutes the other night. He's been playing 33, 34, and if I can get 33, but now I finally have the plus of a 36, 37 minute game at 8,300 for Ja, I am very, very interested, even if it's a tough matchup. That matchup will get a little bit easier if Cat is out. You will see Achua probably at the start with Ariel out. So I'm very interested in Ja. I'm fine going there. It looks like to be a close game. Very high total. It's in Memphis. I like it. Derek White is another one. Boston has a slew of injury designations today. Drew Holiday's out. Jaylen Brown's questionable. Kristaps Porzingis is questionable. With Drew alone, I give a big bump up to Derek White. His price is up there, but he can definitely do it. And in this spot, we got a 233 total. Close game. I'm absolutely interested in White in this situation. Thing that's interesting me, though, is the spread has actually came down. It was 2 or 4 points earlier, I think, maybe 2 points. Now it's down to 1, so we're seeing some movement there, and it's going the opposite way, which maybe means some Celtics guys end up playing here. But all in all, Derek White is one I am interested in getting over 2 point guard on DraftKings. D-Book 8,800, obviously interesting. Gonna play big time minutes. I'm fine going there. Tyus Jones at 3,800. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's just way too cheap for the role that he is likely to play tonight. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a ton of Sharks that go 85, 90% on him. Some are obviously going to fade him, but it's likely to happen. And let's go to shooting guard on FanDuel. We got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 34% owned. He's going to play huge minutes. This is a spot that I'm probably going to get to a ton of even though he's high owned. I wouldn't be surprised if his ownership's 50+%. But, he is likely to come into position as being one of the main scorers of the night. It's going to be Jaden Daniels, Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker in my mind is kind of the big three the offense runs through. I'm fine going with some limited sample size without Gobert, Randall, and AE, but he is at 0.99 fantasy per minute without those guys. However, it is only like 100 minutes or something, so it's fairly small. D-Book, we covered. I'm fine going there even at 9,400. Terrence Shannon, 4,200. He's got some big run the last 2 games and in relatively close games with more guys out tonight. You got to expect that run is still there, so he is extremely interesting. Jordan Hawkins, 4,200. I wouldn't be surprised if he slides into the starting lineup, and when he has started, he's played 30-plus minutes. At 4,200, with a guy that can shoot the ball, it becomes pretty interesting playing those type of minutes. Halliburton, Derek White, we talked about, and getting over to shooting guard on DK. Booker, Murphy, Lonzo Ball, 7,900, Trey Murphy. It is going to be the Trey Murphy show. He, without McCollum, without Zion, his usage is going to be through the roof, and it's in an interesting spot. I would not be surprised if he's playing 20 or 38 minutes, maybe 40 tonight, and we know there's a ceiling here. Very interested in Murphy. Lonzo Ball, 4,600. I'm fine if you want to get there, but I just worry about the ceiling, and there's so much value out here. We don't really need to push this value of Lonzo. Getting over to small forward on FanDuel. We got Jaden McDaniels and Devin Booker. Jaden McDaniels, 6,600. Didn't get it done yesterday, but hey, we're right back in a great spot versus Utah, and no Anthony Edwards now, as I said. So definitely interested in some Jaden. He's been playing around, 0.98, 0.99 fantasy per minute here for the last, month, a little over a month. I'm fine staying here with Jaden. Pivot-wise, KD, there's a lot less wing players here tonight with no Beal and likely no Grayson Allen. KD's minutes are locked in. It's a 9-point spread, so it could go into a shootout situation as the Pelicans are very beat up, but 230 game total and a huge ceiling for KD in this spot, especially if he gets some extra run. I am fine going there. I'm not going to push it super hard just because KD doesn't have an insane ceiling with Booker out there as well, but it does happen from time to time, so I'm fine going there. Murphy, we covered. OG Anunoby, 6,200. I think the price is interesting for a spot where he can play 38, 40 minutes, and there's some injury concerns on the team. Other guys are out. Those minutes are pretty locked in, and it becomes much more interesting. Fine with going some OG. LeBron James, he is uncertain, so we are not sure if he is going to play yet, and it happens to be the late game. Absolutely interested in LeBron. I wouldn't be at all surprised if one of Luka or LeBron sat in this spot. And if one of them sits, the other becomes, just an amazing play. I would rather Luka play and LeBron sit, but it could go either way. Very fine with either of those guys tonight. And I do think LeBron's probably going a little under-owned, even if Luka does play as well. And shooting guard on DK, Murphy, Porter, and Naismith. Aaron Gordon is questionable. If he is out, I give a little bit boost to good old Michael Porter Jr., and I'm very interested. Just wanted to update. I lost my train of thought there for a second just because another update on this Lakers injury situation came out. Luka, officially questionable. LeBron, officially questionable. Rui Hachimura out, and Jackson Hayes questionable. With Rui out, Jackson probably gets a little bit of a bump if he plays. If Jackson Hayes is out, they are so beat up with big men that it'll be really interesting how they play. MPJ, I'm fine having a little bit. I hope Gordon is out to give him a little bit of a boost. I'm fine going there. I don't totally love it. Naismith, 4K. Watch TJ McConnell. If he's out and we already have Mathurin out, I think there's a little more ceiling upside with his minutes, which makes it very interesting at 4K. And getting over to power forward on FanDuel, we got Jaden McDaniels, KD, Naz Reid. Naz Reid, 8,100. Gobert is out again. Absolutely interested to go here. I'm probably going to play a ton of Naz in this situation. The fact that he's both center and power forward eligible and a giant ceiling for his price, giving me all the Naz. Trey Murphy we covered, and pivot-wise, we got Carlo Makavic. He ended up starting yesterday. I did not think he would, but he did, and it was a situation where he did very well. Guy is right around a fantasy point per minute. Even if he doesn't start with Olynyk back and likely to start tonight, I think he plays 22, 24 minutes, maybe 26 if he gets it rolling, and I'm fine, sprinkling in some Carlo in this spot here. OG we talked about, LeBron we talked about, so we will get on over to power forward on DraftKings. Bull, 5K. With no Bradley Beal, I would expect Bull to start again, and he's been playing very well. No reason to get off it. He's at 1.18 fantasy points per minute as a starter, and now he's in a great spot versus the Pelicans. Give me some Bull on both sites. KD, we talked about. Chet, 7,200. Minutes got up to 32 minutes. Now, if he's going to play 30-plus at his price, I got to go there a little bit. It's a great pace-up spot. Very interested. The only worry here is just a blowout, and he doesn't have to play that. He ends up playing 28 minutes or something. And while that can still produce, I don't like it quite as much. But I'm fine having some Chet here. And let's get on over to the center spot on FanDuel. Naz Reid. Covered him already. Nick Richards. We were all over him yesterday, and it came through. Went for 33. Don't mind coming back. The one thing is because he had 31 minutes, and Our system did it too, where we're at 27 minutes on him. I think across the industry right now, the algos for minutes or whatever are probably projecting his minutes pretty high. They're questionable. We have seen him play 28, 30. He's been all over the map with minutes. And I think this is another situation where his minutes could easily drop back down to 2,200. Or, sorry, 22 minutes, 2,200. Think it's salary there. But, so he could easily drop down to 22. If he stays high owned, I worry about him being, too high owned and not really producing. Bol, we talked about. Carlo, we talked about. Cat is questionable. If he's in, I'm very interested in him. Obviously, if he's out, he's out. Don't play him. But let's get on over to DK and center over here, Jalen Smith. Looks like Jalen Smith will be back today. So you got to have some interest. Vooch is out or doubtful, probably out. Then we still have Zach Collins and we got Jalen Smith. The one thing is Zach Collins, I think his minutes are going to be capped because Jalen can come off the bench and, play. Whereas before they didn't have anybody behind Zach Collins. I think Zach Collins still starts. I think Zach Collins plays 26 to 28 minutes. And I think Jalen plays around 20-ish. 21, maybe 22 if he really gets it going and is playing well. All in all, I'm fine going here, but we have so much value that is huge ceiling. I don't feel like you need to go to Jalen. You don't need to chase this spot. KD, Holmgren, Olynyk, talked about them all. I'm fine sprinkling in some Olynyk. My only worry here is, again, ceiling. He's playing 23, 25 minutes a night, and hard to really get, a 40-point game at that type of run. That'll do it for us today, guys. We will be back next week. We wish you guys the best. Let's make some money. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all that. Help us out. Talk to you later. Peace.